It's really up to the Democrats in the sense that we've offered them a deal. We'll see what they come back with. Our goal is to get somewhere between 1.6 and 5 billion. If we want to make border security a bipartisan issue, the Democrats need to step up to the plate. It's up to them to stop the shutdown.
Okay, we're sort of in the talking point stage here. I think that's apparent, which means that they're still dancing around each other. Everything is pretty much on hold. Obviously, this is Christmas Eve, with tomorrow being Christmas. The Senate isn't even due to come back into session until Thursday, the 27th. And even then, it's what they call a pro forma session, where nothing is scheduled and nothing is expected to happen. So in a holding pattern here, notwithstanding both sides sort of staking out this ground, trying to appear reasonable, trying to appear willing to negotiate. But as far as we can tell, nothing is happening, no movement. The government remains partially shut down, Eamon.
All right, Mike Vaccaro live on Capitol Hill. Thanks, Mike. I want to bring in our panelists, Republican strategist Evan Siegfried, MSNBC political analyst and Daily Beast columnist Jonathan Alter. Evan, let me pick up on this point that we just heard Mercedes Schlapp talk about there. She kind of gave, and as Mike was saying, we're still in the feeling out phase. Everyone's kind of talking to each other indirectly with their talking points. She just said that they want to try to get to somewhere between $1.6 and $5 billion for border security. That's a pretty big window from their side. Democrats have said they're not going to go above 1.3, but when you look at 1.3 and 1.6, that's a much narrower gap to close. So where is, if there is, an exit ramp in all this? Are we a lot closer to something than what we think?
No, we're going into the new Congress, to be honest with you. You have to remember how this all started. Mitch McConnell had a deal with the White House for the continuing resolution that would have funded the government until February 8th, which the White House walked away from, not because talk radio went nuts, it's because Jim Jordan and Mark Meadows went crazy. They're the true power in the House GOP right now, not the majority leader becoming minority leader Kevin McCarthy. And that's disturbing.
What did those guys do? I mean, walk us through why you think they have more power in all this.
Well, the Tea Party is the one that really has the pulse of the base of the Republican Party right now. And for Speaker Ryan, you saw it, and you saw it for Speaker Boehner before him. Dealing with the Tea Party is like herding cats. Now, the real off-ramp here is with Democrats when they take power. What they should do is come up with a deal with Mitch McConnell themselves, one that is similar to what they proposed and was agreed upon between a bipartisan group of senators in February, which was $25 billion for the wall in exchange for DACA. And it got 54 votes in the Senate. It didn't hit 60 votes needed to make cloture. But if they do that and they are able to pass it in the Senate in a bipartisan fashion, then they're putting the ball in the White House's court and daring them to veto it. If Trump vetoes it and does it for the shutdown, then it only makes the White House look worse. That would be the smart thing for Democrats to do. But I really think Republicans are in a bind here, and the more time that passes, the better it is for Democrats.
I wanted to ask you about Mitch McConnell, but you want to weigh in on this real quick? Or?
Well, I mean, you were talking about these Tea Party guys.
Yeah.
In 10 days, they turn into pumpkins. Like, we're almost never going to hear their names again. They're going into the minority in the House of Representatives.
They'll be in the minority, but they'll still have a voice within, within their party.
But they have no power.
Yeah.
So their voice is going to go way down. We've been listening to these loudmouths for years now. These Tea Party guys, they've been in power for a long time. They're done. Their day is done. They're in the dustbin of history, at least until the next election, right? Because there's no lower species in Washington than being in the minority in the House of Representatives. So Nancy Pelosi is just going to roll right over them on starting January 3rd. And she will, I think you're right, she will negotiate with Mitch McConnell eventually, but not until the cards that she's holding and that the Democrats are holding put a lot more pressure on President Trump. So he's not holding any cards, any significant cards in this struggle.
Okay, so you talked about Mitch McConnell. You guys are talking about Nancy Pelosi. Let me play you this soundbite from Mitch McConnell about Nancy Pelosi. I'll get your reaction to it.
They brought this about because they're under a lot of pressure. We all know this. From their far left, and feel compelled to disagree with the president on almost anything, and certainly this.
Okay, so you talked about the Tea Party folks going to become irrelevant in the new Congress. Right. New power with the new base, the left. Is Senator McConnell right in saying that they are not doing anything because of the power that the far left within the Democratic Party now has?
No, that's just talking points. You know, McConnell himself is in a little bit of a tight spot because all 100 senators, as you mentioned, 100 just a few days ago said, let's not have a shutdown, let's move this into February. And because of what you could call the Ann Coulter shutdown, I disagree with you. I think that talk radio and cable news, particularly Fox, extraordinarily influential. The president was going to go along with McConnell, and then Coulter started calling him names. He unfollowed her, and then he took her advice and decided he was going to stand strong on the wall. The problem is, this is what people don't understand. The wall is dead. It is just simply dead because you have to have the votes for it in the House of Representatives, and you don't. It's not even close. So there will be no wall. What they're arguing over is how much money there will be for border security.
Or possibly steel slats, as the new terminology.
Or a moat, maybe, at this rate.
Right.
So give me then your take and analysis on where the Republicans go from here. You had some advice for the Democrats in the new Congress. If you were advising this White House, what would you say to them about this going forward?
Well, first of all, we've seen that the Senate Republicans are telling the White House, it's your thing. You were the ones who pulled out. We're not going to help you here. Cornyn, McConnell all washed their hands of this, and they want to make it clear. But what that talking point you heard from Mitch McConnell, that's him also protecting himself from the base. It's trying to say, listen, it's the Democrats who did it, not me or not Trump.
So is this the president just posturing for his political base?
Yeah, and he's posturing for Mark Meadows, who mobilized the talk radio group. And I think what Jonathan was saying was how Mark Meadows and Jim Jordan won't be, and the Tea Party people won't be influential. They will be. Why? There's one person who does listen to them, and he lives at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, and he rage tweets all the time. And he's always sought to govern to his base. And when the base is where the Tea Party is at, he's going to do that and throw monkey wrenches into things.
That is true, but the idea of getting the Democrats to go for $25 billion now for a while, in exchange for anything, they're not going to do that. So maybe they might trade Protection for the Dreamers for $1.5 billion.
Maybe 1.6, according to Mercedes Schlapp.
Something like that might be more possible.
All right, Jonathan, Evan, thank you guys so much.